My wife and I bought this 1830s farmhouse in North Carolina a few months ago, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of it and show you all of the things that are wrong with it. My name is John. Welcome to my money pit. According to court records, this farm was established in 1830 and it was about 1,000 acres of farmland, and you had this complex here to facilitate the farm. And over the years, over the decades, they sold off most of that farmland, and what they were left with was a 4-acre little postage stamp here right in the middle of all of the farmland. And I don't mind that. I think it's cool because we look like we live on this huge farm, but we really only have to take care of just a few acres of it. And that's a good thing because I'm not a farmer. I'm an aquarium guy. Wait a minute, you didn't know I was an aquarium guy? Well, yeah, I suppose there might be 4 or 5 of you watching that aren't aware that my whole YouTube career started on the KG Tropicals YouTube channel, which is all about aquariums, and that's why we bought this property, was to facilitate our aquarium business. We'll talk about that down the road. But if you're into aquariums, I'll put a link to the KG Tropicals channel right here. Now, when you live in a house that's almost 200 years old, 192 years to be exact, there's going to be a whole lot of things wrong with it. And there'd be no way I could show you everything that's wrong on this entire property in just one video. That video would be 4 hours long. So instead, what I've decided to do is break it up into several parts. And today, I'm going to show you everything that's wrong with the original house, the very first structure that was built here to support the family that worked in this farm and ran this farm. There's plenty of things going on with the original house. I'll show you all of that. And then in the second video, we'll do all of the additions that were put onto this house. And I think there's 5 of them. It's a lot. And then after that, we'll do the outside, and then we'll get into the outbuildings. We'll do the whole property. We're just going to break it apart into several videos. So let's get started on the original house. It's my favorite part of the whole place. We are in the original living room of the house. This would be the room where the family would gather, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't know for certain, but it would make the most sense because this is where the original front door is and the original back door to the house. This room is only about 14 feet wide, or deep, I guess you could say, front to back. It's a very small room, and that is what the size of this house would have been when it was original. They didn't build them huge back then. It was all about function, and this room, to my knowledge, would have functioned as the main gathering room, but it could have been the dining room. I don't know. We'll probably never know because the people that built it originally are long dead, and some of them are buried in the backyard. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. We have the fireplace in here, which would have been the family's primary heat source and only heat source. It is still functional. We will never use it, but it is still functional. We've had it checked out and it's fine. With the mantle around it that I do not know if it's an original mantle or not. I've seen a lot of modern mantles that look exactly like that. So I'm wondering if the original mantle was replaced or if the modern ones are replicas of those. I don't know, but I like the mantle a lot. I spent a lot of years as an antique restoration specialist, so I think I can do a good job restoring that thing, making it look as good as possible. That's what I plan on doing with that. In fact, that's what I plan on doing with pretty much this entire room. Structurally, everything's fine in here. We don't need to make any major changes. We just need to go through and clean it up, fix the paint. There's a lot of peeling in the wainscoting and stuff like that. And just touch it up and tidy it up. That's what I plan on doing in here. And one of the big changes will be the color. My wife hates the green. I gotta be honest, I didn't like it at first, but as we've lived here, it's kind of grown on me, and I'm okay with the green, but when the wife says it has to be changed, it has to be changed. So I will be doing that. I'll be doing basically like a restoration of this room, not a renovation. Is it the same thing? Who knows? But I'm not going to be doing any major reconstruction or anything like that. I'm not even going to touch the floors. I know people might think I'm crazy for this, but old floors to me look best when they have some character to them. They have some life to them. So I'm not going to refinish these floors. To me, that would be blasphemous to do such a thing. I'm going to leave the floors alone completely, let them have the character that they have. I'm going to clean it up, touch it up, paint it, and this room's going to be done. So this is the original staircase in the house, in the center of the house that goes up to the what would have been 2 rooms originally upstairs. I'm assuming those would have been the bedrooms. We would have a living room, dining room, and then bedrooms upstairs. But again, I have no way of knowing. Let me show you what's going on up there. Nothing real major, but there is one thing, 2, maybe 3 things that kind of funny. So one of the first things you're going to see when you walk up the steps in this house is this, what I think is beautiful stained glass window. My wife doesn't like it though, and it's not original. It's just something that was placed in the window, so it's going to eventually end up coming out. Now, one of the things that I want to address here, when I'm walking around here, you hear a lot of noise. You hear a lot of squeaks, a lot of creaks, and the house moans and groans at you. Yeah, I'm a pretty big guy, but that's not why it does that. It's just part of the character of the house. I mean, it's an old house. It's got some life to it. The wood and all of that is just moved around. We like it. We like the character of it. So we're not going to be trying to silence this house. It makes noise. It's just always going to make noise. So after you get past the stained glass and the squeaky floors and all of the character that is the sounds of this house, one of the first things that you're going to notice is this. The ceilings. I've never seen ceilings this low in a house, but here we are. They are this low. I guess people were just made much smaller back in the day. I'm 6 feet tall, and we've got about 6.5 foot ceilings. I've never seen anything like that, but it is what it is, and there's certainly nothing that we're going to be able to do about it, nor do we even want to. We're barely up here, so who cares? As far as what we're going to be doing up on this floor, not a whole lot, not with this room. Of course, we'll be painting it again because she hates the green, and that's fine. I'll be going through and tidying things up. I want to explain why I keep talking about this the way I am. I am a firm believer in if it ain't broke, don't fix it, particularly when we're talking about something that is old and has history behind it. This house is registered as a historic house by the state of North Carolina. I've already had people contacting me about that, making sure that I know we can't make major changes to it. And that's okay, because I don't want to anyway, at least on the inside. I mean, they're not going to regulate what color we paint the walls and stuff like that. But if we wanted to make major changes to this house, it is something that we're supposed to get approved. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if it's a historic house, if it's something that's super old, I want to keep that. I want to keep it that way. I'm not going to go through and tear everything down and start over again. I don't believe in that. I believe in letting an antique stay an antique and just freshen it up a little bit. That's all I want to do. So when it comes to the original structure of this house, there's not going to be a whole lot done except for tidying it up, touching it up, painting it. That's it. So that's really all there is to talk about in this room, except for 2 things. One is the windows. There's 4 windows up here that are original to the house. They've been here since 1830, which is awesome. This window is not one of them. This was added, we think somewhere around the 40s, this Palladian window, and it was added to modernize the front facade of this house. That's also when they added the columns and the front porch. The front porch isn't even original to this house. But we're not going to take this out and replace it with what would have been original. This is going to stay the way it is, simply because it would just be way too big of a task to take that out and try to figure out what it replaced and all of that. I'm not worried about it. But the windows, being the original windows that were put in here in 1830, to me, that's one of the coolest things ever. They are horrible when it comes to energy efficiency, but I don't care. Because again, these are original. That, to me, is the best thing about them. Not going to change them, not even one bit. So now let me show you one of the first kind of controversial things, but this one's nothing compared to some of the other things in this house, and that would be the color of this bathroom. Now, this would have been the first bathroom that was added to this house. Obviously, it's not original, and this bathroom has caused a lot of problems. We're going to talk about that when we get back downstairs, but I don't know what the people were thinking. No, don't call us crazy. We did not paint this green. I don't know what the people who painted this green were thinking. Maybe they're cinematographers and they do some special effects type work and they wanted to have this as a green screen room. I don't know. I know that's ridiculous, but it is the exact same color as a green screen. But yeah, ridiculous. I will be changing the color. But as far as the overall bathroom itself, I don't know that we're going to do a complete remodel on this, at least not anytime soon, because it's not a huge priority because it's barely used. Like I said, we've got one kid leaving in a month, another one that's only here part-time. So it works perfectly fine for her when she's here. There's no real reason to change it, except for the color, because I don't know what they were thinking with this color. But as far as the function of this bathroom goes, it's perfectly fine. But it's not without its share of problems. And in order to really show that properly, we got to go back downstairs. Yeah, it's bad. Buckle up. So this room here, the reason why I say it's controversial, or the reason why I say it's a problem, is because of what I'm about to show you on the other side of the room. It's a pretty big problem, but the first thing to address here is the wood walls. These would not be original, not even close. I guess this was finished off to be like a den for the old man or something. I don't really know. It's a nice room, but none of it is original. And it's probably all going to have to be ripped out. The wood, that is, because of the issue that we have over here. This is a major structural issue with it. And might be the first project that I'm not completely sure I can handle on my own, because it is going to be re-supporting the, let me just show you. This wall here, or the lack thereof, would have been the original back wall of the house. And what happened is they finished off the porch in the back, and when they did that, they opened this up. And the problem is they did not support the room above very well. And because that room that is above is a bathroom, the green one that we were just in, that bathroom is way too heavy for the support that they put in here. And the wall is sagging. Not the wall, but the ceiling is sagging in a big way. The floor upstairs, the whole structure is sagging down. Now, it's been this way for decades, probably, I don't know, probably since the turn of the century, last century. Who knows? Who cares? It's been this way for a very long time. So it's not like the house is going to come crashing down or collapse. But it is something that I'm going to want to address at some point. And the way I'm going to address it is one of three ways. One is going to be to close this off and add a wall back to this area again. And we can make this like a little sitting room or something. I don't know. Another way that we could do it is exactly what I just said, except have a doorway there, a smaller doorway, so that we can put more structure after jacking everything back up again. Put a doorway in there so that we can still get through. Or the last way would be to just rip the walls down again and then put a new beam in there, but have that beam be appropriate for the amount of weight that's upstairs. I don't know which way we're going to go. I guess we won't really know until we tear the walls down. And this is why I said we got to take all this paneling down, because if I'm going to take this down, I'm going to take it all down, and I'm going to bring this back to what it would have been like when it was original. I'll do something else with the wood. I'm not going to throw it away, but yeah, it's going to have to all come down, and we'll figure that out when we get to that point. I don't know if that one's going to be me that's going to do that job, because I don't want to do something that could result in the entire house falling down. But I don't know. I think I do have the skills to do it. I just don't know. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to take the wall paneling down and then figure out if it's something that I can do on my own or not. Stay tuned if you want to see that video, because that could be a big one. Now, let's take you to what I believe on the inside of the house is the most controversial piece to this entire puzzle. It's something that I've lost sleep over. I'm not all that excited to show you, but as part of my deal in the beginning, showing you all of the original structures, got to show you that. It's bad. All right, now this might be a little bit confusing, but it really shouldn't be. So back there is that porch area, not the area we were just in, but there was a porch that wrapped around the back of this house, and that is part of it. They finished it off and they extended that wood through, and then they did this area here, which is next to the current kitchen in the house. This would be the modern kitchen that they put in here, which has to be completely remodeled. And I will be doing that because it's bad and it's not original. So I'm okay with doing that. But that's for another video. The reason why I'm showing you this angle here is because this is what walks through to the original kitchen on this property. Now, kitchens back in those days would have been separate from the house. And I call it a cookhouse, or the kitchen, old kitchen, whatever it is that you want to call it, but I call it a cookhouse, smokehouse, whatever. They would keep them separate from the building, and what a lot of old farmhouses did was they built these breezeways or L's, whatever you want to call it, that connects the original house to the original kitchen. Now, the original kitchen is a really cool space in this property, on this building, but I have one big, huge problem with it. And that's what I'm going to show you now. And again, like I said before, buckle up, because if you're somebody who appreciates old homes like I do, it's not going to make you disgusted. It's going to piss you off. Here we are. This is the original smokehouse, cookhouse, kitchen, whatever you want to call it. And it has been turned into not only a laundry room, but also a utility room. It houses the heat pump that is for the entire first floor of this entire building. And it's bothered me since the first day we looked at this house. I don't know what these people were thinking. I understand you have to modernize the house and you need to put a heat pump in here to get air conditioning. It's North Carolina, it's hot down here. But why would you put it right here? You can't tell me that there's nowhere else for it to go. You want to know why? Because there's an attic right up there that's accessible off of one of the bedrooms on the main first floor original. Why here? Why? It drives me nuts. This is going to be one of the biggest projects that I do on this channel, is going to be removing this. Now, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to remove air conditioning from this house. That's not possible to do. We would die down here. But what I'm going to do is relocate this to another area up into the attic, and I'm going to have to reroute the ductwork so that it's not intruding into this beautiful space. Look, there is the original fireplace that meals would have been prepared. There would have been a stove hooked up to it, and that's where they would have cooked meals for the family in the 1830s. And now it's covered up by duct tape and an HVAC heat pump. It's disgraceful. It bothers me so much. There's only one thing on this property that bothers me more than this, and that's something I'm going to have to show you when we do the outside tour of this building or this property. And that one definitely bothers me more than this. But that one, for me to resolve, is going to cost probably about $75,000. So I don't know if that project's ever going to get done, but this one, it will, because I used to do this for a living. So I can move this. I just got to figure out how to do it all and the best way to route it all. And it's something I'm not looking forward to, but I will be so glad when it's done, because I hate seeing this thing in this kitchen. It's a disgrace. So there you go. There is the tour. Now, I know there wasn't a whole lot to show you in this video, and that's because all we looked at was the original structure of this building, and I'm not going to be doing a whole lot to it except for getting rid of that HVAC system and fixing that massive sag in the floor in the wood room. That's what we call it, is the wood room. Those are the two major things that are going to get done in the original structure. But other than that, it's just going to be pointing it up and cleaning it up. That's all I really want to do with this. But the major projects are going to be in the additions to this house and also on the exterior of this house and the outbuildings and really everywhere on this property. So if you want to see what's going on with all of those, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to this channel. If you're into home renovation, DIY, all that kind of stuff, and you love old homes, this is going to be the place to be, because my whole reason for starting this channel is to document my progress with this house. It's something I've dreamt of my entire life, and I can't wait to get started on it. So if you want to follow along, you're going to want to subscribe to the channel and click that bell so that you get a little notification that, hey, that bald guy with the money pit house is putting up a new video. So you won't want to miss them. So there you go. That's all you have to do. So be looking for the next one. We're going to show you all of the additions and all of those kind of things and give you a long list of things that are wrong with this house. Thank you so much for going along this journey with me, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.